This is the drive home with
Zac
and TT for the Millwall drive home. Driving home from Turf Moor, where it finished Burnley 3,
Millwall 1.
What a season, what an end to a season. What a fantastic away end to be in. It sounded like Millwall were going up as a promoted side as opposed to Burnley, who I was very surprised at how quiet it was, very disappointed from theirs. I suppose they'd already celebrated last weekend, but it was a very good away end to be in, wasn't it?
Yeah, we sung a lot louder than we did at Palace, which I really wasn't expecting, and especially as we got to go 1-0 up, we got to experience the playoffs for a minute.
Yeah, it was for a minute. It's a weird one because I said to Zac driving up there, obviously it was about 4.5 hours to get up there, that I didn't feel like it was going to happen today. Too much needed to happen, and Burnley are, a side of difficult to break down, difficult to play against, and they've got some really good attacking players, and it kind of transpired that way. But a result did go for us. So if we had won, it would have been enough. But that was such a tough task. But thank you very much for your support of the channel throughout the season. I can't say thank you enough. Even today, so many people come up to us and say hello and shake your hands. Today, Ian from Guernsey, I'm sure it was Ian, that fella from Guernsey, lovely bloke, had a good chat before the game, and it shows what kind of club we are, and we love doing this. We have no intentions to not do it. But it'll be another season in the Championship, and the future's bright, I think, because again, signs today of what we're building. Obviously, I don't know what's going to happen to Josh Coburn, and we'll come on to that. But if you don't mind, stick a final like on the video. We'll probably do a season review if enough people want one. If we get, I don't know, let's say 200 likes. If we get 200 likes, we'll do a season review. And like I said, put your comments in below. We started with I think it was one change, with obviously the excellent George Evans in goal, who's done amazing since coming in, considering he's 19, very young for a keeper. Back four of Cram at right back, probably his most difficult afternoon in a Millwall shirt. Cooper and Tanganga, Tanganga's probably his last game as a Millwall player. Left back was Zac Sturge, who I thought handled his task really well. A midfield two of Casper Denor and George Saville. On the right we had George Honeyman. On the left we had Femi Aziz, and up front we had Josh Coburn and the unbelievable Mihailo Ivanovic. And it was the aforementioned Mihailo Ivanovic who put Millwall in the lead, and it was a good kind of attacking press that we were putting on Burnley. Obviously they like to play it from the back, and we looked to just take the game. We looked to take the game to them, put them under pressure, and I think we did. I think we put them under pressure. The ball's played down the left. Honeyman gets to the touchline, cuts it back for Ivanovic to smash the ball into the back of the net. And I felt at that stage, you couldn't argue against us being ahead. Obviously Burnley were going to later on to create a number of chances, but at that stage, I felt like we were on the ascendancy. And obviously in games like that, what you need to do is keep the opposition quiet. It does help keeping them quiet when you don't have such ridiculous refereeing. There was some I think the referee obviously got the memo that we weren't to get to the playoffs today. There was some really baffling and ball crap decisions. But
it wasn't just the referee, it was also the linesman. The amount of times that they wouldn't be called offside when they looked clear to be offside, and we would be called offside so many times. Some of them, yes, were correct, but there was one with Aziz where he was through on goal, and the lino puts his flag up about 5 seconds late, and you're just thinking, either put it up earlier or don't put it up at all.
Yeah, there were some baffling decisions, and the Burnley goal comes from, again, if we just look at it and go, if it was the other way around, 100% the refs blowing. Crammer's pushed in the back as he jumps for the ball. It's normally a foul on the defensive player, especially as he drops nicely to Ashley Barnes, who takes a heavy touch in front of him. and then goes studs showing on Zach Sturge. Listen, the defensively weren't good enough. We could have cleared the ball 3 or 4 times, but in situations like that where you don't clear it, they're absolute clear fouls. Barnes goes through Sturge, upends him, sends him flying. And like I said, I don't think he made too much contact in terms of the studs, but he went studs in and upended him. And the ball falls to Brownhill, who, you know, as a Burnley fan, or probably any Championship fan will see this year, he's going to bury it, and he put it into the bottom right-hand corner. It's a really nice finish from him. However, we then, you know, stay attacking, stay on the front foot. The ball's down the right this time. Cranmer gets a lovely ball in. I'm not sure who put it in, but I think it might have been Saville. Puts an excellent ball into Cranmer, who's around the back of the defence, takes a touch in. Again, I think he takes it to the touchline. He cuts it across the goal to where Coburn's coming in at the back post, and it's more difficult to miss than it is to score. He gets his feet tangled up and ends up just like kind of falling over and hitting the ball towards the post. It's an absolute sitter, and he's got to put it in the back of the net. And you know, again, goals change games, and he doesn't score, and you know, was that our moment? Was that a chance to give us an opportunity to defend something? Because obviously then we're chasing the game because we need to win it, and that puts us under a lot of pressure because Burnley was so good on the counter attack. The one good bit of defensive play was a header from a corner from Burnley just before half time, and Cooper clears it off the line. Again, we had hope at that stage. Obviously Preston were beating Bristol City, so there was a chance. Second half, Burnley were by far the better team. Like I said, they only needed 11 players. They didn't need the officials as much, but they certainly helped their calls. And a foul on the about 10 yards in our half, or in the Burnley half, sorry, as we were attacking. They had an attacking play that was broken up by the foul. It's an easy ball over Cramo, tried to header it. To be fair, Anthony gets in behind. He's got a straight run and goal and puts it to the bottom right hand corner to make it 2-1. And again, I don't think, Burnley had a number of chances, to be fair, in and around the box. George Evans has made a couple of fantastic saves.
There were so many where you're just thinking, put it in. Literally, all you have to do is put the ball in the back of the net, and somehow they'd miss every one. Yeah,
Aziz had a couple of good chances. I don't think it was his best game today. He's tried to put his foot through it. James Trafford's made a fantastic save from Aziz. But then the third goal's the killer. Free kick outside the box. It goes to George Evans' side.
Yeah, but this is actually after Leeds scored as well. It was in the away end. It was everyone looked, and Burnley had made it a bit of they tried to make it a bit of a rivalry, to be fair, with Hannibal clapping us and saying that we're staying in the Championship. So Mill fans, I don't think at that point wanted them to win. So when we saw that Burnley had scored,
Leeds had scored.
Leeds had scored. It was very much at Burnley, and then they go and score like a minute after. But again, they didn't celebrate, obviously, because they weren't winning the league, and we were
kind of like we were celebrating. It was like I said, it was a party atmosphere. It doesn't happen very often. No. Certainly not up north for us that far up north to take so many fans. But it really was a good. The players got the respect and the plaudits that they deserved for the running that we've had for this season. It was obviously it ended the game on a bit of a sour note, but it was probably just one game too far for a team that's just been absolutely ravaged by injury. Again today, Billy Mitchell, and key players have been out at key times this year. Obviously, we're on our fourth goalkeeper with George Evans. Obviously, Jensen being the number one, Roberts being the backup,
and then Truman was the third keeper until he went out on loan.
Yeah, so. Just to be even in with a chance at that stage was excellent.
And to have Negley go out after scoring against Middlesbrough, literally 5 minutes later get injured,
Yeah.
It's just, I feel like we could have done with someone like Negley today, or if Romain Esse was still at the club, we could have done with someone like him who creates magic.
Yeah.
But Honeyman on that side was just out there to run, and he didn't do that too well today, I don't think.
No, like I said, it could be will it be Saville's last game in a Millwall shirt? Who knows? Alex Neil has now got a song, which it obviously means that the crowd are warming to him. I don't know how you can't, considering the position that we're in at the moment. And it was seeing Fleming came over to the fans before the game, and with his Millwall shirt, I think he chucked it into the crowd. He got a good he got a typical Millwall response. He got sung really well. Obviously he's from Amsterdam, and then as he's walking away, he's Fleming, you're see
Not
you next
very nice word.
See you next Tuesday. A very Millwall thing to do. And like I said, it was a good away to be, which is why I'm not driving home. Although, like I said, I think we're well over halfway. I'm not driving home massively disappointed. It feels like it's just typical Millwall, where always the bridesmaid, never the brides. We've so many times we've been flirting with the playoffs and just haven't got into it. And I do think if we'd have got into the playoffs this year, I think we would have had a very good chance.
Especially as we would have played Sheffield United as well, because we have put up 2 respectable games against Sheffield United, where we've beaten them at Bramall Lane, and we lost 1-0 to them with a Rhian Brewster goal.
Yeah, but it wasn't to be. We're obviously going to have to build through the summer period. It'll be interesting to see what players we'll keep or what players we won't. We'll discuss that in the season review. Like I said, if we get 200 likes, and that's where we'll end. Who's your man of the match?
It is quite difficult today, because I can't give it to any of our defence, because Tanganga and Cooper looked very shaky.
Yeah, we couldn't clear our line sometimes, certainly in that second half.
Yeah, where Tanganga tried to whip a pass out wide and he just completely passed it to them.
Yeah.
Then Cranmer and Sturge did his job, and then Cranmer looked poor. Saville, no. Denor come off early, which I was surprised about. I'll give it to the goal scorer, Mihailo Ivanovic. He worked his nuts off, got on the end of a couple of the long balls.
Even though he ducked out of one.
Yeah, I know, it was very
I don't know whether
poor.
someone gave him a call because he just ducked out of it. It looked like he was just going to nod it away, but that would have been. Was it 2-2 at that? Would it have been 2-2 at that stage?
Yeah, 2-2.
Yeah, and baffling from him. I'm giving it to George Evans. I thought he was excellent.
Yeah.
He made a couple of really good saves. And like I said, so we're driving down the A1 after a really scenic route across the Pennines. A lovely drive, and we're still driving during the day, which is always a nice thing. But we'll do it all again next year. Let's hope, health being what it is. Thank you very much for the support of our channel this season, and we've massively appreciated it. We really appreciate the comments. We got 3,000 subscribers, so now we're on the way to 4,000 subscribers. The channel's only growing, and we, as Millwall fans, it's up and down. The country is what we do, and it's more passionate, and he's getting older and even more better looking than me. So, like I said, we'll do it all again next year. Thank you very much for watching the Mill Drive Home. There's only one way we can end it. No one likes us.
We don't care.